So this video is just going to run through a few different ways that someone might benefit their neck without actually moving their neck. So there's going to be a big focus on shoulder joint movements, spinal movements, breathing. And even though the intention is not to move the neck, there's going to be a big focus on how the neck is responding as you go through these movements. So is it trying to help? Is it starting to tense or guard or grip? Are you holding your breath? Are you clenching your jaw? Are you trying to start moving your neck to make the twist look or feel bigger? Try to do anything that I suggest today with a quiet, soft, relaxed neck in mind. So if that means you have to make the movement really teeny tiny so that your neck doesn't get involved, make it really teeny tiny. I'm also not laying out this video in sort of a flowy practice kind of format. I'm going to have little title sections just presenting different movements that you can play with at your own leisure, just to really reinforce that you can do any of these things on their own at any time. Oh, and if your legs are a little on the shorter side and sitting in a chair does not allow your feet to be nice and firmly grounded on the floor, grab a stack of books or a footstool or something that you can put on the floor to rest your feet on so that your thighs are fairly parallel to the floor and your feet feel solidly connected to something. So this simple seated spinal twist is just focusing on movement of the spine from the pelvis up to the top of the thoracic spine without moving the arms. So you'll notice that I've got my hands together in prayer and my fingertips are literally touching the underside of my jaw. This is so that my arms, my breastbone, my neck, and my head remain as one unit, so that I can really pay attention to the twist coming from my spine. Also note that I'm sitting a little forward in my chair. I'm not relying on my backrest, and my pelvis is staying still. I'm not shifting weight back and forth on my bum. I don't have a knee sliding forward. Here I'm going to show it just from a different angle so that you can see that my legs and my bum are staying very still. Not because I'm hunkering them down and forcing them to stay still, because I'm keeping the twist small enough that they aren't needing to move yet. Rule of thumb, inhale as you come back to center and exhale as you go into the twist on either side. So this seated spinal twist with the arms is all the same principles as the last one we did. My hips and legs are still, my neck is not moving on its own, the twist is still coming from my main spine. I've just added bringing the arms up as I inhale to face front and exhaling, bringing the arms down. Now, if it's uncomfortable for you to go bringing the arms this high, you don't need to bring the arms this high. The arms are just moving for the sake of moving. They're not pushing on anything to make the twist deeper. We want to keep it really isolated to the shoulder joint. So in a moment here, you'll see me demonstrating. If, as you bring the arms up, you're shrugging your shoulders up towards your ears. Now, I did it quite big so that it's easy to see. Bring your arms up, not quite as far. Keep it however low it needs to be, that you're not shrugging your shoulders, your neck isn't tensing, and you can keep that height of arm movement for the twist, as I'm demonstrating right now. Starting with the hands out in front and together, you're going to start to move your right arm out to the side. Now the idea is that you can bring your arm out to the side like this without your spine having started to twist. Your arm may not come out to the side as far as mine. Here's another angle for you to see. So your torso is facing straight forward like it was when you started, and your arm has swept out to the side within whatever range it can before the spine starts to twist. Now we will begin to add the spinal twist. Notice how once I start twisting at the spine, my arm is just coming along for the ride. My arm and hand are moving further back behind my body, but not because the arm bone has continued to move in the shoulder socket. It's just because the spine is twisting and therefore moving the entire shoulder girdle complex and arm back together. If the quiet arm is getting sore floating in air, you can place it down on your knee as you go into the twist. So I'm just going to keep repeating this motion a few times to give you some more visuals. Notice that my legs and my bum are staying pretty quiet on the seat. I'm sitting nice and tall in the chair, and the movement is coming from my spine. We're still inhaling as we come to the front and exhaling as we go into the twist, and we're still paying attention to how the neck is responding to all of this movement. Like the seated twist we did earlier with the arms, if it hurts to have your shoulders up at 90 degrees like this, you can do this movement with the arms lower down. So we're going to start playing with some shortening and lengthening movements here. We're going to start further away from the neck by curling our wrists in and making a tight fist, as tight as is comfortable, and then opening the fingers up and sending the palms open. Okay? So I've just got my upper arms tucked in by my body, and now we're going to start including the elbows. So as the fingers spread and palms open, we're going to straighten the arms, and as we curl everything in, we're going to bend the elbow. You can match this to your breath. It doesn't matter where you inhale, where you exhale. Just notice how your neck's responding to all of this. Okay? So here's another view from the side. I'm just starting at the beginning again here, so we're just focusing on the hands and wrists here. And then we're going to start to add in the elbows. So my shoulders are still pretty quiet here. They're not really doing much of anything. Now we're going to start to play with shoulder movement. So just keeping the arms straight, fingers open, just start to rotate at the shoulder joint. So palms facing out, palms facing behind. And just notice if you're making a lot of this come from the area between your elbow and wrist, or if you're actually moving up at the shoulder joint. Okay, so here's another view from the side. If you're having a hard time really getting this movement coming from the shoulder joint, just do one arm at a time and put your hand up at the top of your chest there so that you can feel that the shoulder joint is moving. Now with that arm outstretched one at a time, we're just going to start to bring the arm back, the hand back. So you're going to feel a fascial pull down the front of your arm, possibly into your fingers, across your armpit and chest. You don't have to go very far back. We're not going for a really big sensation here. And then if you want, you can, once you have it back to whatever distance is comfortable, you can play with raising that hand up a little bit away from your chair. And that's just going to add another angle of pull. So here's another angle here where I'm just showing you, I'm just moving the arm back and forth for that first layer of fascial pull, and now I'm moving the hand up in the air, kind of away from my seat. Again, this can be pretty intense, so just keep the movements as minute as they need to be. You can curl the fingers and soften the wrist if you need to take some strain off.